Lagway for Heisman. This is really going to get Lou fired up. Now, look, this was a clip we're going to play from 247 here and listen to what they're having to say. Look, again, I said Lagway Heisman. That conversation is going to be in full effect until the season starts. That's just the way that it goes. But take a listen to this.
DJ Lagway, Florida, and here's the thing: looking at all these guys, I don't know if there's one player that impacts winning more for their individual team than DJ Lagway. There is a lot of concern around him not participating in spring. What is that going to look like? Is he going to be fully healthy by the time he gets ready for OTAs in the fall? For all intents and purposes, that's what we believe, is that he will have a clean bill of health. Florida's an experienced team. They kind of sat back. They were pretty much idle in the transfer portal. They bring over J. Michael Sturdivant. They did some things on defense as well. But that shows the level of confidence that they have in their returning roster. And DJ Lagway is the guy to make that go. I think if you were to make a counter argument to DJ Lagway, it falls very much on the heels of Florida's got a gauntlet of a schedule. But if Florida's sitting at 9-3 at the end of the day, you're looking at DJ Lagway with some huge opportunities at LSU, at Miami, Texas, Arch Manning at home. You get Georgia in Jacksonville, and then you're on the road at Ole Miss. There's some room to make some noise there. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida's a 9-3, 10-2 team. And if that's the case, how can you live in a world where DJ Lagway's not in the Heisman conversation?
Here we go. Let's talk about it. So 9-3. That was when Jaden Daniels won the Heisman at 9-3 at LSU.
Oh, by the way, that was not Chad GPT that said that, by the way.
That was not. No, that was not. So look, Jaden Daniels 9-3 when he won the Heisman, and I think with the point he's pointing out, we talked about this on our Monday mashup show about our Heisman list, and Cody made a good point. It's like, look, Heisman is made of moments. You want those Heisman moments. Stats obviously play a factor into that. Quarterbacks typically find themselves in that position if they're winning 9 games. I imagine that DJ will have the stats to back it up, but then again, he's going to have moments. Texas at home, at A&M, Georgia obviously always a big one that's in the limelight, at Ole Miss, Tennessee at home. These are games where you can really make a name for yourself and have a big moment and really kind of set that campaign. Again, I don't care for Heisman's. I'd rather a championship. But look, the reason why we talk about it, why it's important, is because that's just the expectation. This is what people are expecting from the Gatorade Player of the Year just 2 years ago coming out of high school, his impact to this football team and what it's able to do. So, look, the reason I play these clips and why I love playing these clips, because obviously as a Gator-esque fan-based show, we are going to have a more biased perspective on it, as we always do. That's what we're supposed to do. And I've kind of gotten annoyed with just the banter on Twitter with Miami fans especially. I understand the back and forth, but it's just to the point where it's not even fun anymore. Like it gets so point where it's just like this serious, just people screaming at one another. I don't even care to dive into it. The point of us is this is why we have talking season, so we can get amped up, so we can get excited, so we can have potential. I'm never going to sit here and say this is going to be a dumpster fire, unless it just truly shows that it's going to be a dumpster fire. But yeah, I loved hearing this guy from 247 talking about, DJ's Lagway's chances of possibly being a Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, all the pieces are there. I mean, preseason, why would you not think that he has a chance to win a Heisman after all of what we discussed? And I don't care what Miami fans say. I do that. I literally, the only reason I communicate with those people anymore is for the engagements, because they get so mad. Like, they're the most emotional little girls on that app. So it's the funniest thing to do is just to have them bookmark all my tweets, have them get all emotional and everything else. So it's like, yeah, it's starting to get old. It's like, okay, we're going to find out September 20th who's the better team. And the arguing the back and forth and all the other BS that happens every single day. It's just all it is just like, okay, we think my team's better than yours. We think our team's better than yours. It doesn't solve anything. Like, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, you still got to play on September 20th. So, yeah, I mean, the DJ Lagway hype is definitely there. It's just now it's, okay, look, Billy Napier, you got all these pieces. These guys are returning. You paid them really good NIL, unsure to return. You've got a lot of defensive pieces in the backfield returning. You've got wide receivers galore. You've got every single weapon for the most part to be a championship team. Now you got to go out there and you got to prove it to us. And now if you go and you bite the dust and you win only 5 or 6 games, there's going to be some talk about a hot seat again. And you definitely don't want that, considering where you were last year.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, I love a good kickoff to a season, a tough game like Utah, Miami, like those fire me up. I'm pumped. We get a little teed up one. I gotta be honest. We've had our fair share for the last 3 seasons. I like a little. Let's get the wheels turned up. Let's start up in the driveway. A little warm up a little bit. Let the team find its footing. So we can get rolling. I mean, look, it's nice to get a little bit of a head start. Like to kind of stack the deck a little bit. It definitely plays a factor for this team. So that's going to be huge in getting the ball rolling again. Then you're at LSU, and I kind of listened to the call-in show. Obviously, we do the hotline now, and somebody brought up a great question that I can't wait to talk about the team possibly losing a game, and if they do lose it or two, who do we think it is? Which we'll get into that a little bit later on, little foreshadowing. But great comment there. Super chat from Gator Believer says $5, says old Uncle Lou, get your cash ready. We coming for you, big dog. I love it. Look, I mean, confidence is high. One thing I will say is the over/under was 6.5 for the Florida Gators. I think it was 7.5 for Florida State, which is wild to me. I'm smashing the over for Florida. I might smash the under for Florida State.
Betting odds?
Betting odds was 7.5 for Florida State.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They only got us at 6.5?
Yeah.
Dude, that's easy money all day. I saw where they predicted us at like 9-3 though. I guess that's expert predictions versus betting predictions because it's Vegas and then the media, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think Florida State will improve a little bit with their quarterback situation. I think any quarterback you could insert in Florida State would be better than DJU, Ungole, but at the same time, I also saw the two backups, and they weren't really that good either. Florida State's going to have a new team once again because all they did was get guys out of the portal. So we really don't know what they're going to be like, but it is really hard when you recruit like 20 or so or close to 20 portal guys, and they're supposed to be replacing a whole team because all these guys have never played together. They're coming from different teams. You're going to have to teach them all a new scheme and everything else. Now, some guys are just plug and play. They can go in there like a defensive lineman. They already know how to play defensive line. They can go in there and play right away. These guys, these wide receivers, these guys in the backfield, they're going to have to learn the route tree of whatever defense that they're playing and all this other kind of stuff. So it makes it a little bit harder when you get a bunch of transfers that are skill players and they got to learn a new offense. They got to learn defense and so forth like that. So I think a lot of teams are going to benefit from the portal, especially I think LSU might benefit from the portal just because of the names that they got out of there. But people like Florida State, maybe Miami got some good pieces out of there too, but maybe them too. Like I think it's going to be a little bit more trouble just because you have to teach them everything. Now I could be wrong, but I mean, when you're recruiting a whole team out of the portal, that's not a good sign of either A, you're developing, or B, your recruiting is really bad, and now you're going to have to jumble a whole bunch of guys that played on different teams to go play for you, and it just doesn't work. Now, if you're replacing a couple of guys, like 6, 7 guys, okay, cool. But in this case, it's like you're replacing 20 plus.
Look,
I don't know, man.
I think you're able to do it. I think where FSU fell short last year was you don't have the culture. So if things start getting slippery, it slides very quick. That's, I would say, is the downfall or the symptom of going into the portal is that it can be. Look, you can turn things around very quickly, but they can also turn around very quickly the other direction. It's just all of it has its ins and outs about it, but it'll be interesting to see.
It did work for Heupel in Tennessee his first year, but it did come off a ledge towards the end of the year. I mean, South Carolina freaking blew them out, scored like 60 points on them, but it did improve Tennessee. I mean, they were. I mean, hell, they weren't even a great team, and then Heupel comes in and gets a bunch of these guys out of the portal, these Hendon Hookers and all that, and they were able to do some work. So sometimes it can improve in that aspect and that scenario, but I mean, most of the time it doesn't work out most of the time, maybe 20%.